Broadcasting live, this is the Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Three, two.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course in front of Clare Court alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino, and the map doesn't say it, but it's sort of halftime.
Yes, well,
Wednesday will be exactly
Wednesday,
halftime. But
technically, yeah.
wrapping up 4 weeks, leaving us with 4 weeks is where we're positioned. One of the 3 huge days at Saratoga
And it was.
Race Course was yesterday.
Yeah, I'm checking. I'm going to leave my earpiece out for the moment, as
Okay.
it is flying out of my ear randomly. 39,478 yesterday, and it looked like it over there.
Longest place to be.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Nice day of racing all around with Life is Good, looking good in the Whitney, and
You thought so?
I disagree with the winner. I thought that was a pretty good performance. What do I know?
Yeah.
104 buyer? Or,
Did he really? I was
Yeah.
like, does the mile and a quarter look appetizing?
well, I'm not debating about the mile and a
No.
quarter at this point. I thought yesterday was pretty good.
I thought if he said very racehorse time fractions early, and I was like, I thought if somebody could come get him. I was not a big fan of Olympiad, so I'm not surprised he ran off the board. But I was like, I thought he was gettable, and no one got him at the mile and an eighth. But what I do like is, as top racehorses would want to do, he pulled a Serena's Song. If you remember, Serena's Song had the outside post in the Whitney. Jerry Bailey got right over to the rail. Now, she got caught by Mahogany Hall, but the point was a brilliant race ride. Life is Good was able to just, it seems like Seth opened up 4 without trying very hard. And then I was like, watching this race with a friend, and we're like, well, the race is over. I don't care how fast he goes. They've given him a breather on the backstretch, and then I think he came up 46.94, but it didn't matter. He had already gotten a soft first 4 furlongs, and he was the best horse in the race probably, and he got a race set up that was conducive to success, and he was successful.
Yeah, and I'm just double checking here, and of course it completely froze up. But as I pulled up the preview, it was actually a 107 buyer. So
That's amazing to me. What did the test winner get?
that was, here we go. Now it's refreshing. Where are we here?
I was being somewhat facetious for Chi-Town.
Well, no,
but-
it was listed.
No, I'm sure.
Keep rolling. I'll find it here.
No, okay. I mean, so Chi-Town Lady runs down Matareo, who never looked like a winner at odds on. I thought she was in trouble at the 3/8 pole. I didn't fear her, and I agree with most of the people that I read on Twitter where the bump was immaterial. I mean, it had no material effect on the finish for me. Nation's Pride, no time recorded. That's good in the 21st century. Can't imagine how it's grade 1 race. We have no time. So how do they set a buyer figure for that?
Well, they may just hand time and set the figure, which I think
that's even more reliable.
Which I think a lot of times they do anyway, as I understand it, perhaps.
Well, they were hand timing on the inner turf course into the 90s.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, it's amazing. And as I said, she truly is amazing, Warlike Goddess to me. And as a guy who tries
Warlike Goddess, a 95 Chi-Town Lady, 90.
I hope people bet off buyer speed figures. Warlike Goddess was great. What she does, she's able to get and stay in contact with the field and then just put in a furlong and a half at the end that's faster than everybody else. So she wins back-to-back. Glens Falls, kudos to her. Disarmed, second career start. People made, I think, second choice in the wagering, wins that 7 furlong race. So a great day of racing. Bettors once again pretty good. Obviously, Chi-Town Lady was the upset there, but rather formful second half of the day. Oh, kudos to Tom Morley on Diner Drive.
Yeah.
In the lore. I think the turf had some bounce to it. We had a 139 and change and 133 for the mile on the turf yesterday. So
yeah, we had a pretty good rain shower, middle of the card. It came down pretty good for a while, and people were saying, I think we'll be off the turf, think the turf will be. And I said, man, if you're here at the end of the day over the first couple of weeks to see the sprinklers go, and you will realize that was like a nice little sprinkler addition to an otherwise hard course that has, kind of been under this type of a condition through most of the meet.
Right, and if you live around here, you know this has been going on since really maybe all of June. I can't remember June being very wet. Yeah, so it's been a long time. So a little bit, as Seth mentioned, a little bit of rain. It's good. I mean, I don't know if it's still bouncing off of the turf, but it gets into it. But a great day of racing. She Dares the Devil got beat in the Clement Hirsch yesterday at odds on at Del Mar. But great Whitney day. Really $1 million race, and Life is Good apparently ran his eyeballs out, 148.97. Anytime you break 149 up at Saratoga, it's pretty good. I mean, for a lot of years, Tri-Jet's 147, stood up. I mean, it just seemed to be hard to get, and then Lawyer Ron broke that. But good effort. Life is Good. He got the 9 furlongs, and we'll see. Now, you were around. Are they going to Breeders' Cup directly from here, or?
I didn't hear.
I mean, it's sad, but it's not unimaginable that after that type of race you just go. But we'll see.
Elliot Walden yesterday, they scratched, as we had talked about previously. American Revolution was kind of the plan B if it rained. And he said, when he sat in with me yesterday, he said still in. It was a couple hours later, went out. But he said Jockey Club Gold Cup probably for American Revolution.
Okay, we'll see. As I said, one of the times I definitely didn't want to be right, Seth, was the fact of Saratoga being the jumping off point directly to the Breeders' Cup.
You mentioned out of town West Virginia Derby yesterday. Skippy Longstockings for Saffy Joseph got it done over We the People, who I talked about with Elliot.
Well, this next race at Leicester would appear,
that's fallen out of
dangerous to assume, to be a bit of a match-up between Supreme King and
556.
Okay, well, you remember it used to be a nighttime race, and some of the jockeys here would go down to West Virginia to run in the West Virginia Derby, but that was honestly, Seth, that was probably about 20 years ago. Time flies when you get older.
It was on We the People. Ricardo Santana was down there. Jose Liscano was on Simplification. A couple of jocks that are based up here.
Underwhelmed me.
Yeah, that's probably true, because I was kind of
I thought he had, and I also thought he had a sneaky good Kentucky Derby, and the Preakness didn't work out. I haven't seen the West Virginia Derby yet. That didn't seem to work out either. But
about 6 lengths back in third.
Yeah. I will say this though: that course and the horses that fly, it seems to be quirky. Like some horses, they just, I mean, for whatever it is, you see some horses that have good resumes and they run clunkers. But we'll see how they come out of the West Virginia Derby going forward.
All right.
Anything else?
Don't forget low rollers today. I would say it. Contest plays a lot of fun. Because I talk about it so much, people are always, hey, last week how'd you do? I did this, and fun just to reflect with people. Opening week, I was that close and just made a wrong decision was between 2 horses, and obviously I went with the wrong one. Or I would have won. Since then, boy, I just have really been chasing, but I'll give it another shot today. Again, you go over 4-Star Day Bar, you give $40, 10 goes into the prize pool, you get a card for $30, you make 6 win, place, and show bets during the day. You make 5 win, place, and show bets during the day with your $30. You keep what's on the card. If you have the most at the end of the day, you win the prize. They pay down to, depending on how many people, I think 5, 6, or 7, and you can win a nice little chunk of change at the end of the day. It's a lot of fun, but it can introduce you to contest play as well, where you have to just think a little bit differently, maybe handicap and search for some value and have some fun. But as I always say, we have the tourney bets on CapelloTV.com, and if you kind of get introduced to contest play and then want to move on, that tourney bets offers some nice contests as well over at CapelloTV.com. So good introduction here. Thursdays and Sundays, the low rollers here at the track.
I've never played it. I know you fancied it. You've promoted it since the beginning. Before we went to 5 days a week, was it also on a Monday wasn't the day Monday.
Oh, I'm thinking it wasn't even here before 5 days a week.
Oh, okay. But you've been on it since day one, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's only been, how long have we been 5 days a week?
Well,
how many years?
2019 we ran 5 days a week. So 2018, if my memory's right, was the last 6 day a week.
We may be back 5 years. So
I thought it was on a Monday. We'd work together. You'd be like, make sure you go over to the low rollers, etc.
But it's been 4 or 5 years is probably.
Now I was just thinking, looking at yesterday's card, which of the low rollers, I do not play contests. I would be in the bottom 10th percentile almost all the time. But I would think my strategy would be just to chase the bombs. Like you'd want a dyna drive, and right, it's got to be hard. You can't grind out the favorites, right? You're not going to win.
It depends on the day. I mean, the other day with the horses all under $10, you could have strung together, a few of those.
But there'll be a lot of you shoulder to shoulder, right? Just trying to get to the finish line.
And that's kind of the fun of it. You're looking at the leaderboard all day long. Hey, I'm sitting ninth. What do I do in this next race? How do I jump up? And so there's some strategy as well. But my game plan is kind of have a mix. I mean, that opening day was
my 5 bets, right?
My dark horse. Yeah, my dark horse play of the day at the $34 winner. And so, boom, I'm immediately up. But a couple other people had that as well. So now you're trying to figure. So I was, right there all afternoon. Like I said, it's fun. I will also mention down at the clubhouse today we have a show pool contest. So I will try to make a little hay there. Opening week, that
50 cents was okay yesterday.
Yeah,
that's your show parlay.
Yep. And I thought
patron saint.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the nice ones last year. And I thought a couple of weeks ago with the show pool, I thought we were right there. I went through the first 4 legs. There's 5. Start with 100. I had gotten it up to 600 and something, and in the last leg, I had a shot to bounce it up to $1,000 for the team, and the last horse just. And it wasn't like, I could have gone this way or that way. It was just I wasn't going to have anything in that last leg, unfortunately, which was a little frustrating. Then last week, I think I was out in the first leg, equally as frustrating. So we'll see what we can do today.
But shorter length of time.
Exactly. Yeah, the frustration was turn the page and go have some lunch. But
all right.
We'll try to have a little fun this afternoon with the show pool. Again, that happens down at the clubhouse.
A quick note: the DePaul play of the day will be the next hour. Loose on the lead, Steve Bick, I'm sure is producing it, and he'll be on with you at typical Sunday 10 o'clock spot. So we will not have it on the Handicappers Report. So Seth, I think it's time for us to tee it up on the end of week number 4, which is hard to imagine. I mean, it's amazing. The opener today, 2-year-old open company, maiden special weights on the Mellon, going 5.5 for $105,000.
I have it 8, 2, 4, and 3. Number 8, Talkin' Pharaoh, goes out for Wesley Ward. Had him on the show yesterday, and then he went out and upset the test. So this one comes out of a sprint at Keeneland to start the career. Pretty good try. Ran second that day at 2-1. I looked up stats on Wesley Ward, and over the past 3 years with 2-year-olds going turf to dirt and sprints, 8 for 29, 28%. I will add an albeit in there, albeit only 1 for 5 at Saratoga. But again, it was a nice stat, and I think this horse is kind of logical. Classic Creation in the second spot. I will talk about that one a little bit more when we get to the play of the day, dark horse play of the day, because that's 12-1. That's going to be the play. Scarpia in the third spot, another Wesley Ward trainee that could be interesting in debut. In the opener, 8, 2, 4, and 3.
I'm somewhat surprised you left the Bolt d'Oro out, but I did not.
I have it down in the fourth spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see this. I agree. The second start on the outside, the Talking Pharaoh horse with Irad Ortiz. I suspect he's going to get bet pretty strongly in here. For second, it's a first-time starter, so I'm taking a flyer on the name. Chi-Ringo. If I separate, Chi-Town and then Ringo Star, so I'm going with Chi-Ringo. The George Weaver runner is the old offspring of Bolt d'Oro. Javier Castellano has the mount. We've talked about how outstanding a zone he is in right now. And then I agree, Scarpia for Don Alberto Stable. They're big in Southern California. They've had some horses in New York of late. Unique Bello was there, so a big note, that orange and green. But 8-4 in the opener.
Race number 2 on Sunday afternoon. Conditional claimers, $25,000 tags. Non-winners of 3 lifetime the condition. They will come out of the chute and go a mile.
And I don't know if it's been announced, but it seems as if 8 is the field limit size, taking a guess.
Yeah,
I don't think
they've been announced, but I think by this point, I'm sure it has been decided.
It seems as if we don't get to double-digit odds runners. I forget.
And for folks who aren't familiar, the first few days they were trying to decide how big a field they would have, and they were kind of letting the jockeys.
They had the practice race before the meet open. I think 6 runners were in it to get a feel for it, and the jockeys, I think, were very comfortable with 6. And they were decided, but my guess is 8 is the number. I'm 1-4-3 out of the Wilson chute, and Critical Threat is my top pick. Mike Maker's runner, a first off a $50,000 claim. For second, number 4, Good Skate. Almost put this horse on top, but I was watching the test yesterday, and I think Rudy was the runner-up, and watching with a knowledgeable racing fan, I'm like, I don't believe in. I don't invest in the idea of karma or anything like that. I believe in meritocracy, let's say. But I was thinking there, I go, when you're 0 for almost 3 dozen, it doesn't seem to work out. It would have been great for Rudy to, break through in a big way. But I was just watching the stretch, going, just not now. He's in a bad streak right now, and honestly, if things were more normal for Rudy, I probably would have put Good Skate on top. It was, I know, 4-1 in the morning line, but it's just a bad streak. Trust me. If you saw the Times Union for me on Thursday and Friday, I know what a bad streak is like. But Good Skate is my second pick, and for third, Blue Jays 7-5 here from Mike Maker. His other $50,000 first off the claim, 1-4-3.
Yeah, and there was a few years ago where I forget who the trainer was, and this is going back a ways, where I kind of finally got it into my head. When they're cold and you're a couple of weeks into the meet, you got to wait for that to turn around. Because I just kept jumping on whoever this was, and just, when the barn's a little cool. But I have a 3, 1, 5, and 4. I put Blue Jays on top for Mike Maker. There's a guy who isn't cool. He's on the opposite side of the spectrum, going very well at the meet. Luis Saez on board, first off the claim. That's an okay stat. So just adds up to think Blue Jays is going to be a cozy fit with this particular bunch. Mike Maker off the claim also has Critical Threat. Irad Ortiz on board. At both of these, they claimed for 50 and they're coming back for 25. So I could see taking a stand against, but it is Saratoga, and people like to win up here, and Michael Dubb owns Critical Threat. We shall see, but again, there's some question marks. Majestic Tiger in the 3rd spot. This one, on the other hand, ran well earlier here in the meet for a lesser tag. I kind of like the confident move up for this one off a good try at Saratoga. So in the second at Saratoga, 3, 1, 5, and 4. On
to the third, 3-year-olds and up. Fillies and Mares, optionals in for 80, non-orders at 3, other than going 6.5.
I have a 2, 3, 1, and 7. Number 2, Goodnight Olive on top. Chad Brown with a lightly raced runner that has run very well so far. 3 wins and a second in 4 starts. The wins have all been by daylight. They are also after the first start of the career. First start of the career often is just, hey, let's get a little experience under the belt and then kind of kick forward. And that has been the game plan for this horse. Laid off from November until June. The comebacker was a lifetime best buyer figure. So seems like all systems go here for Goodnight Olive. In the second slot, Dealing Justice. Has plenty of positional early speed and is clearly in the hunt more often than not. I think we'll be in the hunt again today with this bunch. Where do you put it in the mix? I put it in the second slot. But again, I think this is a horse that on your verticals has to work into the mix. And then Sarah Harper also with a nice early speed. Hasn't been seen since Oaklawn. They got ambitious last time, tried a stakes race down at Oaklawn. Showed some punch before fading. I think is going to appreciate getting back to the more proper condition level. But this is a horse with some talent. The layoff may be a little bit of a concern in here. We'll see. I have it 2, 3, 1, and 7.
I'm on board with Goodnight Olive. And I think coming back off the bench and running the big race is okay because that big race was June 23rd. So I think the time in between the races will give Goodnight Olive the opportunity to either not regress at all, muscle regression at all, or minimize it for the offspring of Ghost Zapper, who on debut was the favorite, comes out of a defeat, doesn't race for 7 months, comes back and at odds on is bing, bang, boom, and tries to make it 4 in a row. And I think, the race clearly goes through. Good Night Olive, who's 4 to 5 on the board. For second, I have the rail horse, Sarah Harper, Ron Moquette's runner. Last seen almost 6.5 months ago in a stakes race at Oak Lawn Park, a listed stakes race, finished 7th, but beaten fewer than 3 lengths in the American Beauty. And for third, Liberty MD for Ian Wilkes takes on this level for the first time, getting through the 2X, going 6 at Churchill most recently. That was on, I think that was Belmont Stakes Day, maybe 215 in the third. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, stakes action from the spot.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Sunday morning. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino. Horses working out in front of us. Another beautiful morning here at Saratoga. Although, again, still a little bit humid. So I've still gone sans jacket. But as always, after the commercial break, it is time now for the Dark Horse play of the day. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway in downtown Saratoga. Their sister store just down the street, Impressions of Saratoga. Both places that are worth stopping by and spending some time. You will not regret it, browsing through it. You'll walk away with something you'll be happy with, I'm sure. But Dark Horse play of the day, I kind of hinted at it earlier. I'm going to take a shot in the opener with Classic Creation. And our Dark Horse play of the day yesterday, we have gotten moved up now with 2 straight DQs. And we got moved up to 3rd yesterday. But I think if it had been a clean trip, we would have gotten at least 2nd, potentially the win, but at least 2nd at about 8-1. But we had a little bit of show money to the pool with the DQ, got moved up to 3rd, but it did get stymied a little bit late in the race. But we'll see this afternoon. Classic Creation again, number 2 in race number 1, 12-1 on the morning line. Worked a quick 10.1 before the April Ocala sale. Classic Empire, okay with first-time starters so far this year, 38 of them. A couple of wins, so that's not great, but 4 seconds and 5 thirds, so 13 in the money finishes in 38 starts. So that says that, these horses tend to be a little bit precocious. And again, at 12-1, if we can hit the board, that will help our charity, because the Dark Horse people are placing win, place, and show bets on these horses to benefit Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. This one had a sibling called American Pure. Started the career with a 3rd, then a 2nd, then a couple of wins. They were on the Turfway Synthetic, so, not turf, but you would think maybe there's a little, you can kind of read the crystal ball that this one will be okay on turf, given what the sibling did on synthetic. We'll see. I think the workout on the turf last time was promising as well. I think this horse very intriguing at 12-1, and that's what we're looking for with a dark horse play of the day. It's race number 1, horse number 2, Classic Creation. And I feel, I put together the total a couple of days ago. I'm feeling pretty good. I've now had 1 scratch, 18 days in the books, so 17 plays, and 8 horses have been in the money so far. So I'm feeling like that's okay for the dark horse play of the day.
It is. You should feel that way.
Yeah, so we will see if we can keep it rolling. That's going to be the game plan. And then the 4th race this afternoon at Saratoga, we're looking at, as Anthony alluded to before the break, stakes action kicking off. The Grade 3 Adirondack for the 2-year-old fillies, racing for a couple $100,000 and traveling 6.5 furlongs.
The Adirondack, named for the mountains and the park of about 25 miles north of here, has been the staple middle jewel of the 2-year-old fillies, except the one year when they dropped the 3 of them, and I think the Adirondack went opening day and they kicked the Schuylerville actually to the curb. But other than 2005, I want to say, if I had to make a guess, 2005 might have been the season where we ran only 2 graded stakes for each sex of the juveniles.
I remember it happened, actually. I wouldn't even have a good guess of the year, though.
I'm going to go with 05. I like this race today. I mean, I'm 4-2-5. I'll get to Janice Joplin in a moment, who was one of my favorite 2 horses on opening day. Saber Tough is my top pick for Dallas Stewart. Makes the 3rd career start, 1 on debut. Well-beaten runner-up in the debutante. That was at Churchill Downs, the Osprey of California, the Osprey of Cross Traffic. Makes the 3rd career start. Sharp workout, sends that race at Churchill Downs, and will be my pick in the Adirondack. For second, number 2, Naughty Gal, who's 8-5 for Wayne Lucas, takes on winners for the first time after breaking the maiden impressively on Independence Day. And for third, Janice Joplin, back-to-back 3rd place finishes. Seth, she was a maiden in the Schuylerville. I thought she had a big chance in there, and she raced okay, but the exacta was down the road. They just, Wayne's Summer Promise and then Just Cindy were clearly better than her. So her 3rd place finish was about where she figured at 14-1, but 4-2-5 in today's Adirondack.
I've juggled up 2, 5, 4, and 3 for me. I put Naughty Gal on top. I just thought the maiden breaker was good enough to think this horse probably is the one to beat in here if able to get back to that. But again, these are lightly raced. There's upside potential, blue sky for the other ones, and this one has to validate what we saw last time. But if she does, I think she'll be interesting in here. And again, Wayne Lucas adding fun storyline to the meet this year. It'd be interesting and fun to see him in the winner's circle for a graded stake at Saratoga. In the 2nd spot, Janice Joplin. I would have put her on top. A maiden from Marquesi, but with 2 bad breaks, you wonder, is this a horse that maybe just has a little problem getting out? So I just couldn't pull the trigger with a couple of lines like that. Saber Tough in the 3rd spot. Experience counts, and this one already has experience and stakes-placed experience. Running 2nd in that debutante down at Churchill. Nice bullet workout coming into this. Seems absolutely logical as well. It's a nice, fun little contentious field. I have it 2, 5, 4, and 3.
On to the 5th, 2-year-old fillies, maiden special weights going 7/8. Sort of foreshadowed this race yesterday when I talked about the boys were going the scheduled 7/8 for as early on the calendar as I've ever seen. And I promised myself, made a little note that I am going to, with the 2 days off, going to look up what previously was the earliest date I have for the scheduled 7 furlongs for the babies. But I said it yesterday. I think it takes a different type of horse to win going 7/8 than maybe a 5.5. I mean, it's
2-year-olds.
With the 2-year-olds, and I love these races.
8, 9, 1, and 6 for me. If folks listen enough, they know I love Violence as a sire of first-time runners. This one worked 21.4 before that May facing sale. Just to give you numbers on first-time starters this year from Violence, I mean, these are just phenomenal. 49 first-time starters, 13 wins, 7 seconds, 4 thirds. So out of 49 starters, 20 of them have hit the exacta in their debuts. Just a phenomenal sire, precocious runners. And again, that workout says this one has the chance. Now, I will toss the albeit in there. Albeit there was a full sibling called Hurt So Bad, has not won in 4 starts, only a third in 4 starts. That left me a little bit, but again, they paid a decent amount of money. There is that breeding. It's Bill Mott, who actually does okay with first-time starters. I'll tilt in that direction. Renegade Rebel in the second slot. Nyquist, pretty good sire, first-time starters, 42 of them this year, 5 wins, 9 seconds, 5 thirds. Horse worked 10 flat before the April sale, attracting a lot of money. There's a sibling called Rizalot, third, second, and then one in the third career start. Overall, that one 9 starts, 4 wins, couple seconds, and a third. So I thought there was nice breeding top and bottom. Mark Cassey can have them ready. You alluded to how his 2-year-olds have been doing up in Woodbine this year. So that one logical to me. And then Just an Angel. Again, experience counts, and it really counts when it's the Steve Asmussen runner. He had one of these second-time starters win just yesterday, I want to say it was, or it might have been Friday. But his horses often improve nicely in the second start, and if this one does off a pretty good-looking debut, Just an Angel is very, very dangerous in here. In the fifth, I have it 8, 9, 1, and 6.
I think you're referring to Disarm.
Yes,
who won the
that's
male
exactly
equivalent of this race in the second start.
That's exactly it.
194 here. I think I made a clerical error, and I apologize for that. I'd be happy to take the 1. That's what I sent in. In the real world, before I fell asleep, it was 694 is my picks. And in the TU today, I type them out, and I send it to Seth, so there's more of a chance I get it right when I have to type it all out than the numbers. So I want to make it clear to everybody here that's my mistake with the 1 on top, and I'll check when we go to the next break to make sure in the TU it's Bissett the 6.
You can't change in the TU, so the TU is really what you wanted.
Yes, and
so you can correct it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said, I don't want people saying, he's picking the TU 1 and here the other. That's a clerical error on my part. Nobody else's. It's not supposed to be the 1. The TU, I'm going to check. I'm pretty sure it has Jacqueline Bissett on top. So it's 694 for me. Todd Pletcher sends out the Australia Quality Road for the second career start. Debuted at Monmouth, ran second, well beaten at 9-5. This runner for Spendthrift makes a second start. I'm not saying the first race was practice, but they come to Saratoga now, and I'm expecting good things. For second, I have Renegade Rebel for Mark Cassey on the outside of post position. Solid works for this debut. And Raging Sea, Chad's firster from Curlin, and I like the idea of a Curlin going 7/8 on debut. 6, 9, 4 in the real world.
And as I am assigned the job of sending the picks into the Times Union, you send the picks to me. I pulled it up. You do have Bissett on top.
Yeah.
We have the perfect time to correct it here.
Less of a chance that I type it out. People don't know. It's like, we send numbers for the guys that put up these chiclets, and for which is the format that you want to see. So all they need is the numbers, and at the time you knew the format they need is the horse's name. So we type out the horse's name. And that's how it works. So, yes, I'm glad it worked out that way.
The cleverly named Bissett, because out of the damn Yes, It's Jack.
Yes.
So,
see that one coming.
6th race at Saratoga this
afternoon. Remember how
afternoon.
scandalous the movie The Deep was when she made it?
Oh,
the white tee?
Yeah. Yes.
We're showing our age.
Yes, I do remember
that. Teenage boys will certainly be
there was a period there where I was right in that period.
We were the right age for the right movie.
Nick Nolte, right?
Yes. As his star was ascending, but,
Yes, is it indelibly burned into my brain.
Anybody probably from the age of about 11 to 15 at least will never forget one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't think it would take too long on YouTube to find what we're referring to.
These days, tame as could be.
It would be nothing today, but it wasn't nothing when you're 13 years old. Let me tell you that.
Oh, very good. 6th race today. Maiden specials going for $105,000. 2-year-old fillies, 8.5 furlongs.
That spot right there would have been like a fart in church if you didn't have the same memory. But because you have the same memory, it worked. If I had, I couldn't explain it to you. But thankfully, you knew it.
Yeah,
so
no, I was right in that same time
right up
period.
here instead of like this. So that worked out well. Good job. On to the 6, 7, 4, 3. Full field in here. The 11, the 1A are AEs. The 12 isn't also eligible. Before we get too out of hand. I have this Nyquist on top, and Bill Bauer had 2 winners the other day. Not one, but I think Phil had 2 winners on the same card. Maybe Thursday came in. Yeah, well, there it is, 2 for 3. But I'm saying, I think they were Thursday. They had 2 on the same day. I will say this for me, and I don't know how. Is it Kaijera? I don't know how you pronounce the X.
Oh, I have no idea.
So I'll get a read today. But the reason I like this horse is probably is Black Tie Affair, who 31 years ago was our horse of the year, really kind of had turf pedigree for a horse who was very successful. He was by a sire, Miswaki, who was a very good sire in the 80s. And that's where I'm going at the bottom side with the Uncle Mo line, the Nyquist line, Indian Charlie on top. But I have number 7, big price in here for Julian Leperoux on top. For second, number 4, Pink Hue. And I did not wear this shirt today because I realized, but this is an offspring of Mendelssohn. My thought here, Seth, and I've said this before about people who are horizontals. This horse is 7-2 on the morning line. E5 Racing, we want to thank them. Another ownership who chose silks that are very easy to follow around the racetrack. But this is the type of thing where you wake up, if this horse is bet and you're a horizontal and you didn't use him for a first, you start to think, I might be sunk in here. And for third, number 3, Gifted. Bill Mott's firster by Tappet out of a Warfront mare, drawing down inside. Even though I only have this horse in third, I will be watching to see this horse, whether it's today or another day. But you might be inclined to think that this horse has a turf future that's pretty good. But 7-4-3 in a fun race.
This is a really intriguing race. You know, you mentioned a few in here that I don't have, and Stay Lost goes out for Joseph O'Brien. Tom Morley has a firster from Boltioro. But I went 6, 2, 4, and 9. Invest wisely. There's a sibling called Time Machine, third, then fourth, then won the third career start. Another sibling called Maxine Machine that won its career debut, going a mile on the turf in a maiden special at Ellis. So I thought there was some solid breeding here. And, of course, Todd Bletcher can have a first already here up here at Saratoga. So I'll go with Invest Wisely and hope we get that 5-1. Gifted at 8-1 for Bill Mott. Tappet, a pretty good sire of firsters. There was a sibling called Ivy League. Took 6 starts to win, but in those first 6 starts also had 4 second-place finishes. So I thought precocity there. Third spot, Pink Hue. Sibling called Conquest Sure Shot, won in the second career start. Sibling called Man of Promise, won in the second career start in the UK. Sibling called Eel, that won its career debut. It's Chad Brown, $300,000. I may regret moving this horse down. Won't shock me if it opens up at a short price. Delight from Augustin, I think, could better that career debut third place finish and maybe at a little bit of value. I'm surprised at the 5-2. I'll be interested to see what the betting public does with Delight.
Well, that's where you start to think for the horizontals, you can kind of feel like, because my thought is, and I always guess it's like, you're going to take 4 or 5, or you're going to narrow it down to 2 so the ticket doesn't get too big. I know it kind of depends on other races and opinions you have, but if you're the common person playing, I think you can really only take 2 or 3, and then you look up, you're like, I don't have the right one in the 2 or 3. If you take 4 or 5, I think you get it, where you feel much more confident.
Yeah, I have it 6, 2, 4, 9 in a fun race.
I think it's one of the most intriguing races of the day. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the late pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley, and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection in one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from Clare Court. Back about the 7/8 pole on another beautiful morning. I mean, this has been a run. I've talked about this. The oddest run we've ever had was about 20 years ago, and a friend of mine and I, after about 4 days, said it never rained during the actual running of the races. One time it rained before the official sign came up for the last race, like day 3, it poured in the morning, or off the turf bright and sunny, but during the racing, it never rained. That's the oddest weather thing. But I have to say, the fact that we've done these shows, we were outdoors, yes, we have a tent, obviously. It has been almost the same morning every day for us.
Yeah, no, there was that year, that quirky year, certainly, it was a bonus year, as it were, so. And again, weather beautiful again today, as it has been throughout.
Always good to see him.
The Wiz.
Known him 30 plus years.
The Wiz making a visit by this.
Michael Kipnis, yes. 7th race today, 3-year-old fillies. The Saratoga Oaks Invitational, where Seth had the great line yesterday. What we invite you to pay. Was that your line yesterday? We invite you to pay, going 1 mile and 3/16 on the melon.
2, 4, 5, and 3 for me. McCulloch on top off the nice win in the Belmont Oaks Invitational. So moves to the next in the series and does so in fine fashion for Chad Brown and Klarovich. I think is well suited in here to run well and deserve that 8-5 morning line favoritism. Second slot, walkathon, Ian Wilkes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a race scheduled on that one day down at Churchill that maybe didn't go or isn't scheduled to go now, and so they're electing to come up here instead. But they come up here, obviously, with a horse in very, very good form and likely the one to challenge McCulloch. To me, you get past those two and it becomes a little more convoluted, perhaps. Contemporary Art going out for Chad Brown and Bobby Flay with the Moonlight. Charlie Appleby brings this one in, having finished second
race
to McCulloch last time. That one is very scary in here. But again, to me, the top two, they're not far spaced, but they maybe have a little bit of an edge on this bunch. For me, I have a 2, 4, 5, and 3.
I think the top 3 that you. Okay. Well, one thing I'll say is I often will, and because our audience is my grader, and that's what I'm speaking to, but I often talk about how the grades are too high for the races that we have. We've talked with Dave Grenning and between us, some of these restricted stakes races based on the conditions cannot be graded, but they've been like grade 2s, etc. This is certainly better than a grade 3.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a very good race, short field. I think it's top heavy 3 deep. I think it's 2, 3, 4 in here. Now, do you recognize the silks for number 4? And I don't know if it's technically true, but she was basically out of the game for 20 years, never saw these silks, and then she came back, and Ian Wilkes has trained almost all of her horses. This is Bayakoa's people.
Oh, okay.
Janice Whittam. And after Bayakoa, I don't remember seeing the silks very much, and then about 7, 8 years ago, they started re-showing up in the game, and that's great to see. I'm 3, 2, 5. I took a shot in the 3rd place because I think Walkathon is in the top heavy here. I took the offspring of Frankel. Hopefully it'll be William Buick's day today in these invitationals, but you pay. 1 star in the United States, a 2nd place finish to my 2nd pick, who's the horse to beat in here, 8-5 on the morning line. Won the Belmont Oaks. race goes through this offspring of Frankel. And it's funny, in not only in the United States, but in America, at Saratoga, where Frankel was slow to start, had that one runner, wasn't very good early, but now is coming over, and I think it's the Frankel Exacta. And then for me, the second best stallion, contemporary art and offspring of Dubawi. This is a grade 2 at its weakest. I know it's a short field, and this is a race that I'd love to know how people playing the horizontals get through. Can you take the 2, 3, 4 and move on, or do you have to? I mean, you can't have 3 other singles. It's just tough in a short field. 3, 2, 5 for me in a terrific race.
Race number 8 this afternoon. Allowance non-winners are one other than, yes, a mere $115,000 up for grabs. They'll travel 7 furlongs.
You figure you could probably bank about just under $200,000 getting through your allowance conditions.
Yeah.
That's 584 for me. Colorful Mischief. Todd Pletcher sends out this runner for St. Elias Stables. This is an offspring of Into Mischief. Tyler Galfione gets them out. He was aboard 2 races back. The 7/8 Maiden Breaker. For second, number 8, Portilla, going out for Al Stahl. Almost put this horse on top, making the second start in almost a year. And for third, number 4, Empire Hope for Chad Brown, who broke the maiden with a 69 Beyer speed figure. And his second choice here, 584.
5, 1, 8, and 4 for me. I put Colorful Mischief on top. Nice series of improving numbers over the first few starts. Maiden Breaker, 2 back. Got some experience at this level last time. Should benefit from that. Wicked Hot in the second spot. Third start back. Been training down at Fairhill. Comes in for Graham Motion and comes in off a very nice and improved effort in start number 2. So could be primed to kick forward again. Portilla in the third spot. Al Stahl trainee. Good second in the seasonal debut. That's one to build on. Chad Brown has Empire Hope. Wouldn't argue anybody off of that one either. But I have it 5, 1, 8, and 4.
Imagine if Wicked Hot was in the Bissett race. On to the 9th race. Once again, because of the conditions, the Delarose, which annually comes up, a terrific race, a mile on the inner.
5, 6, 1, and 7. Jouster on top. Todd Pletcher trainee coming out of a win in the Perfect Sting last time at this mile trip. Lifetime best buyer number in there, and I think signaling just some really good form right now. Competitive race, but I'll give the edge to this one again on that race last time. Luis Ayes sticks on board. I'm going to go slightly in that direction. Our Flash Drive going out for Live Oak and Mark Cassie coming out of a 3rd place last time, second 2 back, but both of those races putting up good numbers, signaling the horses in really good form right now. So I think a solid player in with this very competitive group. And in third spot, Chad Brown has Love and Thunder. Again, numbers that really stack up with this bunch in a race where you can point to almost all of them, and on the numbers, they're right in the thick of things. I think this is a competitive event.
Fair.
This is a puzzle for the horizontal players as well. I have a 5, 6, 1, and 7.
I would love a head-to-head wager like Love and Thunder and Jouster. I actually think those bets would be great for
I'm
horse
right
racing.
with you. I think they'd be fun, too.
I think they would be outstanding. It's kind of how, especially in stakes races, we talk amongst ourselves. Like, I would have laid the wood with Life is Good versus Olympiad yesterday. I probably couldn't get enough action on Life is Good against Olympiad. Love and Thunder is the one I'm taking out of the Perfect Sting. I think we improve off of that defeat at even money. I have Our Flash Drive for Mark Cassie coming out of the mile race up at Woodbine. Now remember, the mile race at Woodbine is a 1-turn contest, and for third, Stunning Princess is my outsider. Has to pick it up a little bit to be contentious, but Jouster is in here. I mean, this is how you get through this on the horizontals. Good luck to you, but I am 163 in this year's renewal of the Delarose. I think she beat boys multiple times.
Was it,
and was a 3-year-old.
Henry Kwiatkowski,
yes,
right? And Woody.
Woody, yep. Was the filly and mare champ. It didn't happen very often when you had a 3-year-old filly from the United States. But she
I will say what would be fun, those parlay cards with head-to-head bets. So
I'd love that too.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
And what I think is, like, we as horse players, we find our bet, but I think it would, not a light bulb, but it would intrigue the more casual fan. It's kind of more straightforward with
and
what
everybody's
you're thinking.
familiar with those parlay cards football matchups.
Yeah.
It would be the same thing. Head-to-head matchups with all day long with horses in various races. I think it'd be kind of fun.
And I know you had David O'Rourke on Loose on the Lead last week, and they were just talking about wagers and getting out to the mainstream. We'll take our final break. When we come back, the finale.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
All right, let's wrap it up and put a bow on it for a Sunday afternoon. The 10th race today scheduled to go off at that usual 10th race time of 6:13. It's a conditional claimer, non-winners 2, $35,000 claiming tags, 8.5 furlongs on the grass.
And it's hard to imagine. I know technically it's not true, but a bow on the first half, and it's only August 7th. That's the bad news is the first half. The good news is it's August 7th.
And I should have mentioned, we didn't mention it earlier, you know, there's no racing, obviously, until Wednesday, but the sales, which are a lot of fun.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, pop over Monday, Tuesday night, the sales. Next show, we'll Loose on the Lead. We'll have Nicole Russo on. She writes about breeding in the sales for the Daily
a
Racing
local person,
Forum.
right? She was in Saratoga for years.
Absolutely.
And then she made the job. First sales I went to was 1987. Looking at your book, I still have the book. As my wife would say, no surprise.
Yeah, well, I still have a pile of them myself.
2-1-10 for me, wrapping it up, and at 10-1 on the morning line, Splendid Summer takes on winners for the first time for Todd Fletcher and Flavian Prat, and offspring. I mentioned him earlier in this meet that the summer fronts, you know, I like as a son of offspring and a young stallion. 4-2 from the temporary rail, number 1, Digital Software, Chad Brown's other runner. Boy, you look at this, 3 races in 2020, 2 races in 20, 3 races in 21. This is the seasonal debut. And for third, number 10, Merci. Naturally, Christophe Clement trains number 10, running for a tag for the first time. 2-1-10. And a heck of a finale. Good luck to the horizontal players.
Yeah, and you look at the owner of Merci and you realize it's a double whammy on the French. I have it 1-10, 5, and 8. I thought the 3 and 11 were very playable, so this is going to be kind of a fun get-out race if you're looking to play around in here. But I put Digital Software.
Do you know in the family tree who this is? Because I do not. But I'd be interested to know.
The wife of Freddie, I think.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
No, I won't, but I may.
Chad and Klarovich Digital Software, a horse that has shown some potential throughout the career and then made the seasonal finale at this level last time, comes back maybe with the voided claims and being at this level. This is a questionable runner from them, but I'll put that one on top. Second spot. Thank you, merci.
He's got the Seth Merrow watch.
We were a little worried, but there's the co-host. Getting a drop. Some class relief in here that I think will be beneficial, and then Meseta in the third spot. Stake bred allowance to open claimer. That angle I like quite a bit. I debated putting Meseta on top. Do not ignore that horse if you get a little bit of a price. In the 10th and final, 1, 10, 5, and 8.
Seth Merrow's least favorite line every season is, Anthony, can you stick around for a couple minutes? But Steve Bickey's here.
We're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, another beautiful day. If you get a chance to come up for the racing as we're nearing the end of the first half of the 2022, which has rebounded back to the days of yore, and it's a lot of fun. Up next, we have John Silva with his Del Mar picks.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.